Hello friends, today we are going to start chapter number 6 of geometry, that is mensuration. One strange thing I want to tell you, that many students I have seen, they are comfortable in algebra but they are scared of geometry. I don't know why. Because compared to algebra, geometry is very easy. Of course, algebra is also easy, but geometry is very easy. Only thing, you should able to judge the problems, the formulas, the things which can be formulated, which can be found out, mostly should not be remembered. There are many formulas in geometry. Now, like in this chapter mensuration, we are going to study different solids. That is, we are going to study sphere, then cuboid, cone, many solids, 3D solids we are going to study. Till now, you know how to find out the area of any two-dimensional figure, that is a square or rectangle, triangle, and so on. Here we are going to deal with the solids, three-dimensional solids. And so there are many formulas, because when you take a solid, all of you know the Rubik cube, right? There are 6 faces. That means you can find out the total surface area, you can find out the volume of the cube, you can find out what are the different faces, how many faces are there, etc. So generally what happens, you know that there are 6 squares in Rubik cube, right? What student do? Student by heart the different formulas for squares and for cube. That should not happen. For example, you know if you have 6 squares in the Rubik cube, and you know for the cube, for the square, the sides are equal in dimension. So if you know the area of one square, there are 6 squares. So multiplied by 6 directly, and hence you will get the total surface area. Like that. This is just an example I gave you. So here we are going majorly to see the surface area, volume, areas, and some problems based on that. Okay. The only new thing in this, that means you are not studied in previous standard. In this, in SSC you already studied what is the circle, what is the arc of circle, what is the secant, what is the tangent, what is the segment, everything you have studied. So we are going to take one by one. First we will deal with the circle, arc of a circle, segment, and the areas or the circumferences related to that. So let us start with the first topic of this chapter. In this case also, I am not going to solve each and every example of your exercises. Where I am going to discuss those problems, I'll give you hints and you are going to solve the problems. Mind well, if I solve each and every problem and if I spoon feed you, you will not be able to solve any questions in your exam. So better, I will not spoon feed you, but we will discuss each and every problem of your exercises. I'll give you some time, or you can pause your video and you can always solve the examples by your own. If you're watching this video on YouTube, you can definitely comment me or send me a message if you have not understood any part of the exercise, problems, or any part of this chapter. You can definitely comment or message me and I'll definitely answer you. Okay, so let us start the first topic, that is the circle. Now in case of circle, first of all we will see what we know about circle. Again I am telling you, whenever the new concept, new topic comes in your syllabus or for you, first of all tally that with your previous knowledge. For example, I'll give you, suppose you are expert in riding a cycle. Now your father gives you a cycle with 6 gears. Okay. Now, do you have to learn the cycle again to ride that 6 gear cycle? No, because you are already know how to ride the bicycle. So you have to only learn how to operate the gears, right? Now suppose you are expert in riding that 6 geared cycle. 1 year later, your father gives you 21 geared cycles. Now, do you have to learn the cycle again? Do you have to learn the gears operating again? No. You have to just check how many gears are there, how many extra gears are there, what are the function of that, that's all. So now as we are going to learn the arc of circle, first of all we will see what we know about the circle. Okay, let us learn that. So you will come to know that you need not by heart the formula. You already know all these things, or you can formulate the formulas in this case. So what we know about the circle, first of all we know that there is always a center that we call as O. Then we know that center is O. What else we know? We know that there is radius and there is diameter. Okay, and we know that diameter is twice the radius. Correct? What else we know? We know that circumference is equal to 2 pi r. What do you mean by circumference? This length. Okay. Then what else we know? We know that area of circle is pi r square. What else we know? We know that there are total 360 degrees in circle. So we know all these things. Now just tell me one thing. If I say this is a central angle, if this angle theta is there, can you find the length of this part, this much part of your circumference? Very easy. You know the circumference 2 pi r. Now this circumference is for 360 degrees. So what is the length for the theta degrees? Isn't it? So if I say this is x, so what will be x then? If for 360 degrees you have 2 pi r, so for theta degrees how much is there? This formula or this method you have learned in the 3rd standard or 2nd standard, and this can solve majority of your problem till your engineering levels. This is a very simple thing. Only thing, degrees, degrees, length, length. So how will you do that? Theta into, what is this? X is, this x will be nothing but theta into 2 pi r divided by 360. And in your book what is given? What is the length of the arc is given? Theta by 360 into 2 pi r. But just tell me one thing, do you really need to remember this formula, by heart this formula? Once you know how this formula you have achieved, rest is easy. In this similar way, if I want to find out the area of this arc, by the way, there are 2 arcs, I hope you remember. This is the major arc or this is the minor arc. Now suppose you want to find out this area. How you will calculate? Extremely easy. What is the area of circle? Pi r square. Now this pi r square is true for how many degrees? 360 degrees. And for how many degrees you want? For theta degrees. So if this is for the length of arc, I can write the similar formula, that is for 360 degrees you have pi r square. So for theta degrees, how much? Or I can say small a. So what is your small a now? What is the area of this arc? Simple. Theta into pi r square divided by 360. In your book it is given as theta by 360 into pi r square. But do you really need to remember this formula? By heart this formula? Will you ever miss this formula? No. Why? Because you know how this formula you have found out. Okay? Now, so from this information we have found out 2 things. One, we know the length of the arc, then we know the area of minor arc. Okay? By these 2 formulas. Let us write the formula once again. What is the length of arc? Length of arc is equal to theta by 360 into 2 pi r. Now what is the area of sector? This is the minor sector. This is an arc and this is a sector. So what is the area of this sector? This area of a sector will be equal to 3 theta by 360 into pi r square. Right? Now theta by 360 is already there. Can I write some relation between this length of arc and area of sector? Definitely yes. Half r into L. Whenever you substitute L here, theta by 360 2 pi r, this 2 will go from here and r will be squared, and ultimately you will get the same formula. So we have got, or we have derived these 3 equations, correct? Now let us see few examples based on that. Let us see the exercise 6.1.